Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mo, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. It is the very last day of 2025. I usually do not go on the air for all the years that I have been on the air. I usually do not go on the air on the very last day of the year. I just kind of take it easy and hang out and do what I want to do. And so this year, though, because there have been so many things going on, I decided that I wanted to take the time out, not just only to say thank you to all of you, but to create a space for you. There will be no guests today. So I'm creating a space for you where we can talk about this year. I'm opening up the chat. You can call me at 215-400-0146. Let me close it here and put in the number for you so you can call me. I am now officially broadcasting live on Riverside, which is the app that I use to go up to Facebook, YouTube, etc. I'm recording this very first day on Riverside because should those platforms shut down, and I believe in 2026 we're going to see some things. We're being censored, right? So if I can't get on YouTube and I can't get on Facebook and I can't get on Instagram and the usual places where we would normally broadcast, my own platform, my very own platform here on Riverside, you can come here. No one will, stop you from seeing, etc., etc. So there's the beginning of another thing. The beginning of 2025, I told you there may come a change because of what's happening in the country. I'm also putting in the phone number here. I'd like to hear your voices today. Today is not just going to be me talking to you. I'd love to hear your voices. So I'm putting in the phone number to call, 215-400-0146. And there we go. Here's what I want from you. I want you to think today, and I'm going to type it in. Who were your friends this year? Who were your friends this year? Yeah? Or what did you learn? Learn from this year? I'm sorry. I went to dinner last night with some dear friends of mine. And we had a ball. I'm going to talk about this too. What did you learn from this year? Name 3 things that were awesome for you in this year, right? And I'll follow that. Name 3 things that were awesome. And what else did I want from you? 3 great things that happened. What are you leaving in this year? Is it friends? Is it, jobs? Talk to me. This show absolutely belongs to you in this year. Okay. And then I want you to talk about what are you looking forward to? You looking forward to for 2026? Good morning, Beatrice. This show belongs to you, so we may run a little bit longer than 7:30. I wanted to take a spin class this morning at 9 o'clock. The spin class was sold out. I was like, ah! So I'm just gonna go in the gym and do some regular work. What else? What else did I want from you? So I went looking back at the pictures. Usually when we get to the end of a year, I do the year in review when I talk about all the things that, happened, blah, 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 blah. I recognize that this year started with my husband. It's ending with my husband. I'm going to post the pictures, some of the pictures, about the highlights of the year. And I also recognize that this year was filled with my grandchildren. Instead of trapezing across the country, for those of you who are listening to me for the first time, I have gotten in my car and driven from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the north to the south, so we've done it 5 times. We've traveled around the country, myself, Denise, There were a couple of times when Niamal, who now lives in Ghana, joined us in those trips. And then I believe one time it was Margaret who joined us in 2024 as we drove from Philadelphia to Oregon, came down California, came through Colorado because we wanted to try the best pho in the country. It still is the best pho in the country that we have tasted. And then we drove to the Democratic National Convention where I covered it, and they got to see all kinds of great people and meet all kinds of great people. And then we came back east. That was the fifth time that we had traveled across the country driving. It is an experience I think all of you should strive to do at least once in your lifetime. And, as we were coming back from the country, driving across the country in 2024, I said to them, I don't think we're going to do this again. I just had a feeling in my gut. So I'm not sure. 2025 began by the time we got to February, the end of January, February. ICE was out and they were snatching people off the streets, and it's still happening. There was a chaos. There was a feeling of chaos amongst us all, and I did not want to take the risk of us driving across the country in that kind of environment. I was talking to one of my dear relatives who work for Comcast, who was laid off. Comcast laid off 1,500 people in the last quarter, and she was one of them. And she began sharing the story with me that she had co-workers who were United States citizens that were picked up by ICE and just disappeared for 3 months. Nobody knew where to find them, et cetera, et cetera. So even if they had, and she said they had their information on them, their real IDs, et cetera, they took them anyway. Right? They took them anyway because they fit a profile, Latino, Black, whatever. And so I understood early on in that moment that it wasn't going to be easy, where other people, were like, well, we're going to be okay. It's just the immigrants. It's just the illegals. It's just now a year later, almost a year later, because January, February of next year will be a year. You see that it wasn't just. We saw more things happening. Yesterday, China entered the chat in Venezuela. China says, "Nuck if you buck, they're coming." They're bringing their ships through because they do business with Venezuela, and their simple words were, "We're coming to get our merchandise. You go ahead and try your best." Then there's Trinidad and Tobago, with a woman prime minister there who got on the side of the United States, and she's saying all kinds of things. And Venezuela now has its targets squarely on Trinidad and Tobago, who doesn't even have a tugboat outside their island to protect them, much less anything else. And so we're seeing the vestiges of war begin, in that part of the world. There was so much. So once I realized that was going on, I said, all right, we're not going to travel across the country. And then I began really, truly spending and I always do. I see my grandchildren every week. But this summer, I took them on vacation and we went away. They had a ball. My copy paste, the twins paste, the granddaughter, the first granddaughter, she said to me, "Grandma, I'm sleeping with you." I was like, mm-mm. And she looked at her mother and said, "I'm sleeping with grandma." So, she would, when it was her nap time, she would climb into my bed. When it was time for us to go sleep for the night, she would climb into the bed. I so enjoyed her. I would wake up and just look at her and go, "Wow, you're here. You're 3 years old." And we did all of that. And then, I did a couple of events where we were supporting Mr. Man Frisbee's Big Black Ball, where he was raising funds for scholarships for Black boys graduating from high school in Philadelphia, and paying for them, helping them to get scholarships and to go through 4 years of college. My friend Antoine, when we were traveling across the country in 2024, called me and said he was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure, and they told him he wouldn't have a year to live. And so I joined him for his fundraiser. Antoine is still alive, by the way, and it's been over a year. He is now on dialysis. He has several matches. Two of his brothers matched him, so they're trying to make sure that they get all that together so that he can get the kidney transplant. So we praise the Almighty for that. We have the year, I think, for me, and this is why I want to ask you, what are the good things that happened for you this year? Give me 3 great things that happened for you this year. I learned from David Alexander Jenkins that there are Black elite people, and I'm not talking about the Black elite that calls themselves elite, right? The achievement brunch. Thank you, Jacinia. That calls themselves elite. We're not talking about the people that go to the are on the Jack and Jill and the Lynx and the Boule and all that other stuff. I'm talking about Black elite people that have been in the shadows watching us the whole time. They don't join these things. They are, they're blended in with aristocrats around the world, and they just live what you would consider normal lives. They don't walk around and say, I'm an aristocrat. They do not, but they do exist. So I learned that this year, which was fantastic. um, I learned that if we find our tribe, and I started to say this, David and I said it to you in November of 2024, December of 2024, January of 2025. Find your tribe, find the people that are similar to you, find the people that you can, and it may not be more than 2 or 3 people, but find the people that if you're in a dire straits, you can say, send them one word. They will know whatever that word is, and they will come get you, or you guys know what to do. Told you as a family to plan. It is being decided that 2026, based on all the things that happened in this year, and a lot happened very quickly in 2025. From the beginning to the middle, you heard me talking to Tracy DeMartini yesterday. That episode did very well. So many people were on there watching that episode and commenting on how wonderful Tracy had been to them. She led parts of she was a leader in the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. She was a leader at the IRS, and she is one of the people that were let go, were forced to retire in April of this year. And she said she has yet to receive any monies, but she was so eloquent around, what has been going on in the federal government. Why were so many people let go? What is the blame that's been happening there? And so I was grateful to have her 2 days before the year ended so that people could understand what was happening. I've asked you all to research. Media is under the thumb of this government, where you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. So I've asked you to do your research. Do not take just what is given to you. When I look up for some certain things, one of the things I'm seeing now is that they're citing Facebook and YouTube and Instagram as sources. Ma'am, sir, no, that's not how we do that. That is not how we do it. And we're losing the steadfast sources we've always had. So many people are looking outside of the country, outside of the United States, for our sources of news. They're reporting in a way that is no longer being reported here. It's been a lot. But let me tell you, grateful for my spouse, grateful beyond belief. We looked at each other the other day and said, we might as well not even argue about a diggity dang thing, because all we got is each other in these Wakanda streets. Grateful for health, something that we often take for granted, right? But I'm grateful that I don't always make the mark, but I'm grateful that I've been steadfast in making sure that I am okay health wise. Grateful for all of you. Started the podcast in October of 2024. I made it through 3 seasons, and I was burning out. And my team says, we want you to take some time, start again in 2026. It's okay. The people who are there will be there. And there are some great episodes that I recorded that needs to pop out for all of you. So I thank you for trusting us this year. I thank you for those of you who have been sponsoring, who have given us sponsorships on Substack. I thank you for trusting us this year. It hasn't always been easy. We have sat down and had conversations about how we pivot. We're constantly pivoting around where we go and what we do. The goal for 2026 on this platform is to continue to give you what you ask for, what you want, what you need. You have all recognized by now that we don't do silly things here. This is not the space where you come on and, oh my God, I want to talk about Jamal Bryant and his wife and what. We don't do. That's not happening here. We're talking about real life things that changes the efficacy of where we are and how we live. So talk to me. Please call 215 400-0146. We are here. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your voices. If you have never, ever called me before, today is the day. 215-400-0146. Uh, I'm shifting. I'm learning that people with businesses are starting to really struggle because as people lose their jobs and lose whatever it else that's going on around them, they've had to make decisions around what is best for themselves and what is worth it. So I'm going to tell you now, if you own a business, black or otherwise, your customer service has to be top notch. No one is sitting around waiting for you to act like you have some sense. Treat people well because people have options. They absolutely do have options, no matter what is going on. Ooh, let's see. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova. How may I help you? No one is sitting around. Oh, I can hear myself. Hello. Treat people well. Hello. All right, here we go. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova. How may I help you?
Good morning, Mother. It's Alexandra. How are you?
Hi, sweetie pie. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone.
What did you learn this year, Alexandra?
I learned, to be honest with you, I got comfortable in my job. And getting comfortable doesn't allow you to learn new things about yourself and your talents and your abilities and how to present yourself. The interviewing process has allowed me to learn how to present myself and those talents.
Yeah.
And also learning how to pivot. And the one aha moment I had was that I have always been throughout my life in a state of survival and resilience. And knowing how to do both is what got me through the past 6 months.
Can I ask you this question? Where do you find time to breathe? Because when you're in a constant state of, survival and resilience, when do you download and say, you know what, I'm just going to take a break?
And that was the other aha moment that since I got late, I didn't sit still. I was constantly looking for a job or I was having things done around the house. And I didn't sit down to breathe and think and to rest. And since then, I did. Since that moment. And one other thing, I always say to you, thank you for Dr. Majors being on your show. I did learn that I won't settle to put my health in jeopardy again.
Yes. Say more about that, please.
Well, after that, when you had Dr. Majors on the show, I went to see her. We found out my blood pressure had been in a state of elevation for Lord knows how long, and I was close to having a stroke. Since following her instructions on changing my diet, changing and being an advocate to change my blood pressure medicine, my blood pressure is back to normal. My nephrologist and my doctors are very happy. My last reading the other day was 127 over 80.
Yes.
So that was another thing. And I was offered a position paying less than a livable wage, and it would require me to get a second job. Doing so would put me back into that health spiral. So I decided to decline.
Yes.
And step out on faith that something is going to come along where all I have to do is work that one job Monday through Friday.
I am proud of you. And so one of the things you just gave me that stuck with me was the guests that are on here are helpful, right? That you're talking to people that have been helpful to you. So I am grateful. Thank you. for your transparency. Thank you for listening every morning faithfully. Thank you for sending all the links in all the land that sometimes I miss, because of what's going on. And I am just absolutely grateful to you. I talked to our nephew for 2 hours yesterday, and it was so
Mm.
awesome having a conversation with him. And thank you.
And
Thank you.
did he tell you Mr. Sanders got something coming today?
No, we.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we have a makeup box coming.
Yeah, so Mr. Sanders is listening, so he's probably over there doing a whole jig, a whole jig. I was making a pot of soup and stew peas. You guys make black eyed peas for
Mhm.
New Year's Day. I made a pot of stew peas that is out of this world good. So that'll be my meal for the next few days. And we'll just go from there. But thank you, my sister. It's such a pleasure. Happy New Year. And may
Happy
we
New
walk
Year.
into 2026 continuing to support one another, helping each other to strive and grow. Okay?
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, honey. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. The phone number is 215-400-0146. Pick up the phone and call me. I want to hear your voice. Someone else was calling in, but all I could hear was my voice on their phone. I think it was Viola, but I'm not sure. 215-400-0146. Donette Paris says, I stepped out of my comfort zone. I participated in a play called Vagina Monologues, did some speaking engagements, attended the ball with you and David, and enrolled in Erica Durant's Roar class. Absolutely. That was good. Thank you for sharing that. Um, Here we go. Welcome to Mornings with Marva. How may I help you?
Good morning.
It was
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I was trying to get the sound down and I couldn't.
How are you, Viola? Happy New Year to you,
I'm
my darling.
I'm doing great, and I just want to say how much I've learned in the couple of years that I've been listening to you
Mhm.
before you started the YouTube and
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
and from all the people
Mhm.
that sign in. I've just met so many different people, and the ones that I have here in Delaware. When I was 40, my friends were 60. Now that I'm 78, my friends are 90 and 89.
Wow.
So it's so funny, of how things change in your life.
Yeah.
But I thank God for me being healthy, and I'm just thankful all the way around. I'm thankful that I've been a lot more generous than
Mhm.
maybe I would have been, and
Mhm.
just watching the world go around
Mhm.
is something else in the sense of the things that we have to be careful of.
Yeah.
But I just want to let you know that I love you and Mr. Sanders, and
Yes.
I'm just so thankful to be able to help in the things that I have done for anyone.
Yeah.
And I have one little small piece of cake left that I
You
was
still eating
saving.
cake?
One, it's just I cut those sections
Mhm.
and had a piece, and I tell you, I ate my soup in two different portions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to know, the little yellow things, were they dumplings or carrots? They
Yellow?
chewed like dumplings, but I wasn't sure what they
Yellow
were.
things.
Well, they looked like a off-white color,
Oh, it's
but they look
dumplings. It's dumplings.
okay.
I make
All
them.
right,
I make them
okay.
like little cylinder-looking things and just drop them in the
Yes,
soup.
like
Yes, they're
my
dumplings.
grandmother used to make these cookies, and she called them fingers,
Uh huh.
and she would roll them and then roll them in nuts.
Uh huh.
And in life, those are the things that we all think about. I'm quite
Yeah.
sure as
Yeah.
we've gotten older, we wish we had our families and
Yeah.
the ones that we've missed over the years.
Mhm.
Our mothers especially, and just grabbing life the
Mhm.
way it comes and be thankful for all the good things that we have
Yeah.
and examples of some of the things that we don't like,
Yes.
that we can dismiss when we want to. But I thank all the folks that wish me and my deceased husband a happy anniversary. I couldn't believe that it would have been
Mm.
57 years. And I'm just thankful for health, especially,
Mhm.
and bless all those out there that are dealing with health issues,
Yeah.
especially the different cancers.
Yes. Viola, somebody else is
Yes.
calling in. I'm going to give
It's
them an opportunity.
All right.
I love you, darling.
Happy New Year to all, and I love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
And those grandchildren.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. Good morning and welcome to Mornings with Marva. How may I help you?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
How are you? It's Laverne.
It's
Laverne. Can you hear me?
Hi, Laverne. Okay, and now I'm going to cry. What did you learn? What are the three things you learned this year, honey?
Um, Three things. I learned to listen.
Hmm.
I learned to give grace.
Yes.
Um, and in this moment, I am learning to just trust the process.
Trust the process. Yes. 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 What do you want to tell people about what this year has been like for you, darling?
This year, I love traveling, but this year was like a sit still year.
Yes.
Not out of fear, but out of just the need to rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, listen to your first mind. Listen to your first gut, your gut,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and go with that. Not fear, not worry and stress, not all the things that is being said and going on and things like that. Just listen to your gut
Mm-hmm.
and go with that.
Yeah.
Let that lead you
Yeah. I'm grateful to
because
hear
it
that.
works.
It does work. Always listen to your gut. It does. It does. It may feel, oh my God, you can't do that because that would disrupt what we've always been accustomed to. Nope. You've got to choose your soul. You've got to choose what works for you, what works best for you. Um, One of the things I learned this year was that my work ethic is so super strong. It almost knocked someone completely to their, like, literally knocked her on her behind. And she couldn't figure out how to work with me. And so, because I kept saying, if I'm doing this, I'm going to do it properly, and you're a hindrance because you're not doing the work. Do you know? Some weeks ago, I saw her and I apologized for being over. She just didn't know how. Right? I didn't apologize for the work ethic. I could not, would not. Right? But I think one of the things she learned was that people see it doesn't make sense for you to make all that money every year and then you're just not producing. You do the bare minimum. And so I believe I was a mirror for her this year. So that's where we are. Um, so when I apologized to her for making her feel overwhelmed, you could see the look of shock on her face, right? Because I tell people all the time, it's not always about what you want, but you've got to see what other people need around you. So I learned that lesson. And like you, Laverne, I barely traveled this year. It was grandchildren year, finding my peace, sitting in solitude, because what you guys are going through, I hear it times 50 every single day. Every day someone calls in a panic, and I had to learn to not panic with them, but to say, all right, let's do this and this, and I listen more than I talk. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because this was the year for us to really be kind, to help people, to show up in any way that you can. If you have any skill, gift, or talent, and you know it can be supported by helping someone else, then you do that. And that's what we were doing this year. I want to thank you for your transparency. You made us laugh a lot this year. You made us go, oh Jesus, what hell? What happened? What had happened? You shared stories that made other people open up and talk, right? And so I want to thank you for being so transparent and vulnerable on this platform with us that we learned so much from you. And I want you to take that into 2026, right? Because we often stifle ourselves by, oh my God, I can't share that because blah 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 blah. But when you're vulnerable and you share your truth, it can't be used against you because you shared it. It did not come from anybody else's mouth. You understand what I'm saying?
I will say these two things that I am taking into 2026
Mhm.
that has been repeated to me. And I'm very good with listening without offense. But the two things that were said to me repeatedly this year was it's not about you, and you're an educator, but you are a special ed teacher. And that teaches me to meet people where they are
Yes. Me
without getting
too.
frustrated. Because before I was so frustrated, I can't deal with this. I gotta get check out. But now when I
Mhm.
remember that I'm a special ed teacher, God only is gonna put in front of me what I can handle.
Yes. Yes.
And some of it is to show me that I can handle it and not
Yes.
for me to run.
Yes.
And so those are the two things that I'm going to take with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a moment. I'm not a crier. I did my best not to cry,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it happens. And when I had the moment and the tears came, I did not run from them. I stayed in it. I had several, and I was on social media, and I had several people say to me, "Oh, don't share that, and you can't tell everybody." And I said just what you said in different words, but I let them know what I share is God led, and it is not for me; it is for somebody else. And
Yes.
so, what I shared, to be able to hear so many people say how they're going through things, and
Mm-hmm.
it drew a prayer circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then the awareness that it gave to me, because it was about my son and not seeing him for his birthday. But what I realized in that moment was I saw my son on my birthday in 2025. I saw him on Mother's Day in 2025. I saw him on Thanksgiving in 2025. And I had not seen my son on consecutive occasions like that in years.
Yes.
And so I had to give him grace for missing that day.
There you go. There you go. I love you, my sister. Happy New Year
I
to
love you
you.
too, and thank you always. Thank you always.
You're welcome, sweetie pie. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Whew, we will not cry going into kin. I've been crying. Y'all, listen, for those of you who have just joined my show in the last week, 2 days, whatever it is, you've missed a lot. You have missed a lot. So many tears, so many lessons, so many let's figure this out together. The phone number is 215-400-0146. Pick up the phone. I want to hear your voices. I don't just want you to type in like you normally do. I want to talk to you going into 2026. I want to learn what are the three things that you most embrace this year? What are the lessons that you've learned, right? What are you pushing doing into 2026 as much as you can possibly do? For me, for 2026, it is to breathe and be led by spirit. As always, just breathe and be led by spirit. Yesterday, I went to renew my license. It expires on Sunday, the D for national holiday, and realized that I would not get my camera card for a few days, and I wanted to do something which would require my needing my license. And this thing with the temporary license that they give you at the DMV, which is a piece of paper that you have to sign and carry with your old license, is going to expire before I would return, from this thing that I had to do, that I wanted to do. So I went to these different licensing centers, and they were crammed, and the people were in there hacking it. I was like, I'm not going in there. And State Rep Darisha Parker saw it and sent me a text and said, "Go to these two places." I was like, "See, when you don't share, when you keep it to yourself, and act like I don't know, I probably will have my license, my fully developed license before the end of this day." You understand what I'm saying? I'm grateful for Denise Parham James, who has been my, it's been a year, and sometimes I call her in a panic and I say, I'm hearing all these things, I don't know what to do. People were calling, immigrants were calling. I had immigration lawyers on here, I had politicians on here. We tried to give you everything that you could possibly need, as you asked for it. Again, 215-400-0146. Bobby Carr, I would love to hear your voice. I've not spoken to you other than being on, you're being here talking to me. I am grateful for, I'm looking at his face, Kent July, who taught us lessons of grace, taught us lessons that it's okay to go through what you're going through, and still walk with grace. Hard, difficult, challenging. My husband said, "Don't say hard." He has had a challenging few years. So for those of you who go back into Substack, on Apple, the platforms where I do my podcast. But if you go to Substack, A Lawful Truth, you will see a good clip of videos from the podcast. We had 3 seasons of podcast episodes. For the second episode of the first series, it was Kent July. And I want you to go and listen. For those of you who are moaning and complaining about not having the $3,000 this or the $4,000 that, because you're still not feeling the effects of what is upon us, go listen to that. No matter how much money you have, when life shifts on you, you'll be grateful to have your health, right? He lost a son to gun violence, July of either 2022 or 2023. I can't remember now. And then he then was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He had forgotten to go and get his annual prostate cancer check because he had been so engrossed in, losing his son and what that feels like. So for those of you who have your children and they're giving you heartache, because it's a conversation we've been having, my friends and I. We're the Generation X, and our children who are in their 20s and 30s, we're not doing that. I don't want to work so hard. I need to have my work-life balance. Blah, 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 blah. For instance, are you aware that the generation behind Gen Z, is that what they're called? That they are loose and open to polyamorous relationships, that they have their relationships with 2 and 3 people at one time, and they're doing it together. They're not saying, "Oh, I don't want to." They're like, "We're living our lives freely, and we don't understand why you all are here doing this, and this." So y'all be careful, because your children are not telling you things that they could tell you because they hear what you're talking about from this judgmental space. But a lot of them are doing it, engaged to get married, and they're having threesomes and foursomes, and I literally had to pick my chin up and went, and I'm grateful to my sons who share what's going on around them with their friends, because I guess they know I'm not going to come from a judgmental place. I just want to hear what's going on. And I went to another friend and she was like, "Yeah." And one of my mentees and I were together recently. She's like, "Mother, you would not believe what these young people out here." She said, "I thought I was free." They're enjoying themselves, right? Laverne says 50 days before 50 has been amazing and blessed. Not perfect, but blessed. No matter what time I go to sleep, I awake at 5 a.m. to pray. Yes, Cheryl, please like and share this platform. We're growing. We are not forcing anybody to find us, because I believe wholeheartedly when you find us, you will stay. You absolutely will stay. Winetta says there has been so many teachable, informative, and inspiring moments that has helped me to love me first. Before I can love others, no matter what. Be kind, for kindness doesn't cost. I've said this all year long. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Dennis says it's nice to see people smile through the pain. We are here to help other people, and your channels allow them to be authentic. Thank you for that compliment, Dennis. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting Booker's bar and restaurant by bringing in your folks from all around the country to have dinner there. You're doing your part. Grateful to you too. Y'all pick up the phone and call me, because you can hear my voice is going, right. 215-400-0146. This is how we're ending. I'm not reading any news. I'm not going through any of this thing. Thank you to my girl Kelly Wyatt, who made some of my mornings with Mother and A Lawful Truth paraphernalia and merchandise. B, I owe you a t-shirt. So yesterday, one of my dear friends, we've been friends since 1999, 2000, where we met, where I was in a program, and she was a program officer at the United Way at that time. And I watched her grow. She then began working at the state level. Then she moved to Washington, D.C. She was single, was doing all her things, just she would always say to me, "Andrea, just do your work, and the rest will work itself out." And so she kept growing. And in 2011, because we travel and go on vacation and stuff like that. 2011, we went to St. John, and me, her, and a couple of others, and we ducked ourselves into the water. And she said, my goal is to find a husband, to have a husband, and to have at least one child. And we all told our goals. All of us told our goals, and it all came true actually, which was so interesting. And so yesterday was her birthday, and she doesn't live far from me here, and we coerced her to go and have dinner with us, and we're sitting there talking, and I'm looking at her, and I am marveling. I am marveling. She now manages billions of dollars, executive vice president at a major Fortune 500, major nonprofit, really is on track to be the executive director. And as I listened to her talk about all the things that has transpired, she now has her husband, has her child. She said her child said to her the other day, "Mommy, are we rich?" She said, "No, you're not rich. I am." And we just laughed and talked. We talked about menopause. We talked about the healthcare system. We talked about going to on vacation in 2026, and the place they had gone before, and they want me to now experience it. And I was like, all right, let's do this. But the thing that struck me in our conversation, we began talking about the healthcare here, and she was having some issues, but she travels quite a bit around the world for her work, and they wouldn't give her the medical care that she needed because they said she was not in state, she was not at home. She wanted to do a telehealth. Do you know what she had to do? She had to go find a concierge doctor. So she spends $2,500 a year for a concierge primary care doctor, which then takes her insurance, and she can be seen at any time, any moment, any time. I said, is this where we are in these United States? Is this where we are? And she's like, Andrea, I can't take my health, can't put my health. It's so interesting. You call them and you tell them this is what you're feeling. I called my nurse the other day, and I was like, the nurse practitioner called me back and I said, I'm going to this and this. She says, oh, just put a hot water bottle and take some. I said, man, are you crazy? Are you crazy? So we're constantly trying to find the best healthcare despite paying for healthcare that we think is top notch. It is wild out here in these United States right now. And we're going to see some things that we had just never, ever, ever seen before. Doctors are frustrated. They're not getting paid properly. The healthcare is just, we pay out of the nose for our healthcare, but the doctors only get peanuts out of it. So what's happening now is the doctors are saying, okay, since they're not paying us well, we're going to make your co-pays bigger. If you're going to come to us, if you choose to come to us, your co-pays are going to be larger. Or in many instances, the doctors are not taking insurance at all. They're moving themselves out of the system of the insurance companies, and they're operating on their own. She said her concierge doctor said before she became a concierge, she had 1,800 patients, could barely get to see the insurance company. When she moved out of the system, she now has 500 patients, and it's a team of them, and each patient pays $2,500. You see where I'm going with this? Each patient pays $2,500 a year, and so they're able to do what needs to be done to give people the kind of service that they need. And you telling me that in order for me to exist and have the kind of healthcare that I need, and so now I'm looking into this concierge service because I can't afford for them to keep telling me, well, we know what you feel, but this is da 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 da. We don't, it has to be dire for us to do what needs to be done. So that's where we are. Shaquilla Strawberry says, no, this is where we are, Marvel. This is especially true in mental health. The medical system treats it like a luxury, which is why too many people don't get the help they need. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova. How may I help you?
Hello, is this Andrea Lawful Sanders?
Is this my husband?
Am I on the air?
You are on the air. How are you, sweetie pie?
Fine. I just wanted to tell everyone listening how lovely of a woman you are and how you are inspirational, you're informative, and you are your true authentic self. So what they see and hear on the air is what I see and hear face to face with you.
Thank you. Thank you, honey. What did you learn this year since you called?
I learned I have to be more patient at times, and I have to realize that my opinion is not always the opinion that is correct, and that no matter what happens, you and I will always love each other. I tell people all the time, not only do I love you, I like you. And I want everybody to know there is a difference. And you have to know the difference, but it's good to have both in your life.
It is true. Remember the other day we were like, listen, we all we got.
Yeah, exactly.
We all we got. Well, I want to thank you for your patience because I spent a lot of 2025 going, babe. It's been a lot. Woo! It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And I love the way when you don't just hear things, you listen and you process, and whenever you can, you take corrective action to help others. You always you're out here to help others.
I am.
As much as, yes.
And I think it's the reason why you married me. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love you, Mr. Sanders.
I love you too, Mr. Sanders. Okay, go back to your regular calls because I'm your caller all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Bye, honey. Bye-bye. Oh, that was I didn't recognize his number because it doesn't show up on my business phone. 215-400-0146. I want to confess to all of you that is Mr. Sanders why I'm still on the air. It's been several times this year. There has been several times this year when I said I can't do this anymore. I hate to see people suffer. Watching people suffer does something to me, and I don't know how to turn that part off and be cold and callous and go, well, that's their lives. I really hate to see people suffer. So Dennis says, I remember when you both dated. Yep. He's one of the best things that ever happened to me, honestly. I'm grateful to him, and through our relationship, we were able to talk about what life has been like, especially since we began dating at an older age. And I just saw a video. I may repost it that I did with Nicole Blackson for Love Now Media. And we were in an audience, and people we were talking about. They talked about love and what was love like, and my husband and I were chosen as a couple to be a part of this. And I was talking about how he's shorter than me, and I wear 6-inch heels, and then he only comes to my titties. And my husband blurted out, "And what's wrong with that?" The audience erupted. It was so funny, but I'm grateful because if I didn't have him when life hit, when my mother died, when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, when I had to fight people to make sure he got the best care that he needed. When we talk about our children and our grandchildren, and we come to one accord, and who does what, how do we manage? I take out the trash when he was sick the last couple of weeks. He's just now getting better. We take out the trash, all of that. You know what I mean? Like we talk about everything, and his transparency for someone, he has no social media presence. He's not on social media at all. The thing that I love the most about being married to my husband is when I'm out in the streets and the brothers walk up and like, how's mister? My man sardine can. I wish he would teach some lessons. I'm like, yeah, no, he corny. We'll be laughing. He loves the Eagles. Go Birds all the time, right? But he has taught so many lessons just by being himself. And I'm grateful. I was blessed with him. And when I come on, I also said this on that podcast, when I come on social media and complain about him, none of you are in my corner. Even when he's wrong as two left shoes, even when I post the evidence of such, leave Mr. alone. We are team Mr. And so I'm grateful to him. He's really one of a kind. 215-400-0146 is the number to call in. Shaquilla says, Mr. is such a wonderful man. He was so encouraging to my girls. I was talking to my friends last night. They were like, he is the nicest man. I said, y'all don't see him often. They're like, we loved him. We the one sister where we had dinner last night, she was getting married the year after Mr. and I got married, and we had flights to go in. We bought flights, but then she changed her original wedding date to get married on July 3rd, like the day before July, and we would have missed that. And she said, I really want you to be there. And I remember walking into the room and I said, babe, we've got these $600 tickets, but this is what's going on. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want us to drive. We lost that money. He was like, come on, let's go. Packed up our little sandwiches and all the things that we would need. And we drove to Michigan, and we made it in time for her first wedding nuptials. And I just looked at him and I marveled that he just never gave me a hard time about it. And so as a direct result, we went to Detroit and we saw Hitsville, USA, all some things that he wanted to do. And then I bought him we went to some kind of, I wasn't even enjoying it. Some kind of museum, and he was running around. Babe, did you see that? Babe, did you see that? And I bought a bunch of things for him to create because he's an engineer by trade, right? He builds robots. And so we work together that way. There's no fussing or complaining about anything. When my mother was sick, I was not home for 6 weeks. 6 solid weeks. And he would talk to me every day. He said, you do what you need to do. And when I told him mom he was dying, he came to the funeral. He cried more than I did. My sister's husband was consoling me, and somebody else was consoling her. Loved my mother. Called her Mama B. When she came to visit, he would listen. And she would say, y'all go to bed because I'm going to get up early in the morning to make my coffee. When she came down at 5 o'clock, he was sitting down there waiting for her with her cup of Nescafe coffee, the creamer, and all the things, right? Just the nicest man. And the day that I was marrying him in Rincon, my mother came into the room and said, I have never met anyone quite like your husband. There is something incredibly different about him. You must always honor and take care of him, because she said, I know you're alive. Now he can't give you back because we don't want you back. But this is where we are, right? So choose your mates not on, how much money he's bringing into life. If someone loves you, they will work tirelessly to make sure you have what you need. But if all your focus is on material things and material comforts, then you're in the wrong space and time. Because let me tell you something, boys and girls, life will hit. I don't care how much money you make, life will hit. And when it hits, if your core values are not in place, then you're going to run into a lot of trouble. Talk to the people who've been married for a while that can tell you, listen, we've gone through this, we've gone through that, whatever. Alexander says, Mr. Sanders is the sweetest person you want to meet. However, his tone will set you straight when it comes to his wife. Listen, say less. Anytime you hear him raise his voice, it's always been around something someone did. Ha! Marguerite said, Mr. is never wrong. Mr. for president. Oh, his behind is wrong sometimes. Behind is quite wrong. But you all don't let me. Shaquilla makes him a butter cake every year. He has an incredible sweet tooth. And she'll bring the butter cake, and that ninja will cut it up and put it in the freezer or squirrel it away in places where nobody can get to it. I'm like, you know what? You eat like this, and the rest, if I ate like that, I'd be dead by now. So I understand you. I do not understand you. So there we are. All right, let's see. Oh Lord, something is going on. I'm hearing Denise's voice on my phone, so I'm just gonna. You're welcome, Patricia. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Donette says, Marguerite, thank you for your transparency with your journey. Happy New Year. Yes, Marguerite. There were a lot of sisters that reached out after you shared about your journey with your husband being diabetic and you having to take care of him and cook and all the things. It made them understand what was going on and how to pivot in their relationships. This is not we treat people as if they're disposable, right? And we come from a space of, a lot of folks, till death do us part. I'm not till death do my husband and I part. And when I would say to him, you keep eating like this, I'm going to leave you and go to somebody else. He said, well, tell him you come with another package. I'm coming with you. Because you're not going anywhere. So just love on one another. Take care of each other. If you're not married, if you're not coupled up, then you know what to do. Is a mother, a great friends, etc., etc., etc. In 2026, I'm going to ask that you uh, spend thoughtfully. Notice I didn't say spend less. Something in my eye. Spend thoughtfully. Spend thoughtfully. If you don't need to spend it, if you don't need to buy it, then don't do that. Right? Viola is talking about black squirrels. I did see them in Michigan. I did see them. Whew, someone said something. Oh, Shakira says, Andrea, we talked about that, about how hard it is to keep the calling going. Thank you for encouraging me, and I pray that you're also encouraged by me and others and having a supportive husband. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Viola says your number is on my favorite list. Oh, oftentimes when you're in relationships, be it love relationships or just regular friendships, and people just stop sharing, it's because they're going through things, or they just snap out on you. It's because they're going through things, right? Someone talked about if you have a PPO, they should see you anywhere. That's not. Listen, I have personal choice. You know what personal choice means? Means I can take my little insurance and go wherever I want to. And where many people are not accepting many insurance companies, mine is, and I still go through. I don't want you. I don't know. Blah 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 blah. That's a lot. It's a lot. What's her name? Simone, Team Big Brother. Let me see. Alexandra says, I know my poor dentist office is tired of Delta Dental processing my claims incorrectly. It's a lot. It's a lot. We are stepping out of 2025 into 2026. Thank you all so, so, so much. Let me know what you want to see. Who would you like me to talk to in the upcoming year? As life shifts and changes, I'll let you know. None of us can predict the future. Facebook is becoming a graveyard. So many people have died. So many people have died. And there aren't enough people joining because our young people are not on Facebook. They're on TikTok and other platforms. It's our age group, right? So many people are dying every single day. People who are in the pinnacle of health are you know, losing their lives. So continue to try and be kind. Continue to do what you need to do. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Velvet. Happy New Year. Thank you, honey. Thank you. I'm getting ready to get off the air because I think my friend Denise needs me. So I'm going to go check in with her. I couldn't really hear what she was saying. She might just be saying Happy New Year. We'll figure that out. You want to talk about ride or die? It's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And so I want you all to make sure you have at least one person that you can talk to, at least one person that you can share stuff with, and ask the questions. Ask the questions and listen. Listen. Because people will share with you if they think you're listening to them. Make sure you vote in 2026 if we're allowed to vote. Pay attention to what's going on in Venezuela because I believe that is a thing. I don't know if we'll make it into the new year before that becomes more than a thing. So let's see what's going on there. And make your black eyed peas. Be quiet this season if you can. There's a lot of viruses floating around. If you can spend the time in your home just loving on each other, loving on yourselves, having a cup of tea, drinking a glass of wine, then do that, right? Make sure that you take care of yourselves, take care of your health, write what you're thankful for, find a gratitude journal, and do all the things that you think you should be doing, and find your courage in 2026. I'm talking to myself. I'm literally talking to myself. Find your courage the best way you know how to. And may this upcoming year be one that is way better than the one that you had last. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. This episode of Mornings with Marvel is officially over. I'll see you when I see you. Happy 2026, y'all.